What is up, everyone? It's Thomas with Real Broker here in St. Augustine, Florida, coming at you live every Wednesday around 8 o'clock, giving you the news that you need to know about if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing. We're going to cover the market stats, the news, and at the very end do a Q&A. So if you're watching it live, you're watching the replay, make sure you drop any questions or comments that you may have. I promise someone else has those exact same questions. And for today, we're going to start off with the Market Distillery report by Stewart. So if you haven't followed them on Instagram, it's a great resource if you are looking to buy, sell, or invest, because it gives you a third-party resource that's not attached to a bank. It doesn't matter to him if you get a deal or not. It's just, here's the information, do what you will with it. And super excited to be a part of the community of all the knowledge brokers in there. So we're going to start off by covering the data that is on that. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Sorry, I'm looking a little bummy. My office setup is a little bummy. I'm in my work clothes, just getting my my townhome ready for rent. So if you know anyone looking for a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath townhome in St. Augustine, I got a great place. I'm getting it all cleaned up. I've been painting, I've been cleaning, doing a whole bunch of stuff, and it's been a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a lot. I'm not having a great time, but hey, we're gonna get it knocked out, and we're gonna hopefully get a great renter in there. But let's take a look at the Market Distillery report here. As I share my screen, this is a great resource for anyone, but really as a realtor, this is fantastic because it simplifies the market for me. It makes it very easy to talk to about people. So essentially, this little market balance here, we got 2.3 months of inventory. So that means that we don't have that many homes on the market, and it's dominated by sellers. So sellers have the leverage because there aren't that many homes in the market. As Alex says here, our market is showing real signs of strength, which is typical for this time this year, but it's surprising because rates have been so high. I'm going to cover here in a second, but rates have been around 6.75%, which is much higher than 3%. People waiting for rates to fall back to 3% are going to likely be waiting for a long time. We all expect rates to go down to 5%. I don't know if we're ever going to see that 3% market again, just because we saw what happened. It changed things drastically in a lot of areas. And did it make it way more affordable to buy a house? 100%. But I don't know if we'll ever see that again, just because in certain areas, then you're going to see prices pick up. If 3% interest rates happen again, St. Augustine's on fire once again. So the most people don't realize that the supply of homes is our real challenge. Inventory is dropping when it normally increases. This is causing prices to move higher and higher and frustrate many buyers that can't find many options to buy. Why is inventory not increasing? You think it would, but because interest rates are so high, over 90%, I think it's 92% of people have an interest rate under 6%. So until it gets into that 6% range where it's kind of comparable, they're kind of making a lateral move or maybe spending a little bit more, a little bit less, people aren't going to move from that interest rate. And I mean, speaking for me and my wife, we have a great interest rate on our townhome. We're turning that into a rental for ourselves. And that if you do have a low interest rate, I definitely recommend looking at the rental situation and seeing if you can't keep that home. If you do need to buy something else, I understand you may have to sell, but if you can keep it and use that income to help you qualify for maybe more, then that might be an option. I would definitely recommend doing that. Buyer demand rebounded in May as closings increased 14% versus last month. Moreover, days on market continues to fall and is now at 33 days. So he's really talking about the general Northeastern Florida market, but that is a pretty staggering amount of time. When we bought our townhome, it was on the market for 8 months. It's a nice place. It's not like it's a piece of shit. It's a nice place. So the one thing we want to talk about too is going to be, let's take a look at rates here, guys. Rates, right? So from May of last year, we're down at 4.31. We're at 6.57 here, but 6.75 is going to be the more accurate number. What way does this look like it's going to you guys? To me, this looks like rates are trending up. Now, I want rates to come down. I want them to be in that 5% range. That, maybe high 4s would be fantastic, because then I can refinance on this bad boy. But, if we can get that 5 range, that makes an even playing field for a lot of people. It changes the game a lot, brings more buyers back in, brings more homes back on the market for those buyers. But from just looking at this annual graph of interest rates, I think this is an upward trajectory. So my feeling is that interest rates are going to go down, and I feel that many other people feel that way as well. So if you think that interest rates are going to go down, then you need to know that prices are going to go up. And with that, buyers are going to enter the market that were pushed out because of the rapid raise in interest rates. And just to show a great little graphic of what this really is going to look like, let me share my screen here. This is pretty much the best description of what we're talking about here. As things start to change, interest rates are going to go down and more people are going to enter the market. It's going to be more of a sprint to get to that next house. And that's what we've all been really worried about. And as realtors, I've been sounding that alarm for many people, hopefully making them trigger and want to move forward on something. But either way, we will keep monitoring that. I'm going to share my screen here one more time. We'll cover the rest of the market distillery report. Let's go here. Boom, boom. Okay, so supply and demand, right? So as you can see, days on market really peaked over here in February, right? At 58 days. And that's really going to be the key indicator of demand, right? How long are homes sitting on the market? So on average, 58 in the month of February, and then also 33 most recently, which is pretty crazy. Median sale price, right? You see that it did take a dip, right? It did take a dip, but now it's going back up. And the one thing I want to say about median sale price is that year over year, median sale price is only down 1%. So being down only 1% year over year is not a big deal at all. The sky isn't falling, the market isn't crashing. Every day, realtors negotiate 3 to 4% on a home when they're working with buyers, when they're working with sellers. That happens every single day in this market. So a 1% difference year over year is super negligible. But either way, guys, let's head on to other things. Let's start on with the news that you need to know about. If you're going to be in St. Augustine this weekend, of course, July 4th weekend, big weekend here in St. Johns County. Also marks kind of the beginning of summer, right? So let's take a look. We have, of course, we're going to have July 4th activities, and I'm just going to cover that real quick. And there's also going to be a shuttle as well. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Wrong one. Okay, wait, no, maybe this is the right one. Okay, so they're going to be having multiple locations where you can join in the Independence Day weekend free beach shuttle. So it's going from St. Augustine Beach City Hall to St. John's Ocean and Fishing Park, Cornerstone Park, Mickler's Landing, all the way to downtown St. Augustine. They will have the fireworks right off of the fort. They're also going to have a band as well, which is going to be really cool. They're going to be playing, of course, all the classic songs, the All-Star Orchestra performing a 2-hour concert in the Plaza de la Constitución, performing big band and popular tunes with a patriotic flair. And then at 9:30, that's when the fireworks are going to begin, and they'll be right over Matanzas Bay, and that's going to be right by the fort over there. So let me share my screen here real quick so you can kind of see there's more options too with the trolley service downtown. That's another service that's going to be free on July 4th. So here we go. So free park and ride shuttle, Anastasia Baptist Church, the amphitheater, Arby Hunt Elementary School, the Alligator Farm. So this is just so people can go back and forth without having to worry about all of the traffic. The one great thing about me and my wife moving to West Augustine, and maybe why you should consider moving to West Augustine, is we're able to walk downtown. It's going to be about a 30-minute walk, but definitely worth it with all the traffic that's going to be in the area. So super stoked on that, really stoked on our area here. I'm going to go ahead into the next news story, share my screen here. Okay, so let's go to this one actually. St. Augustine woman receives $36,000 homeowners insurance bill. Susan Gregory lives in a historic home in Abbott Tract, but the bill for a homeowners insurance renewal is 12 times what one local insurance says it should be. So essentially, her bill came up to $36,000. It's normally around $8,800. And for that amount of money, she could obviously replace the roof and do a whole bunch of different type of flood mitigation techniques, I guess, on her home. It's a 2-bedroom home that's never flooded, has an original roof on it. I guess it's 120 years old, which is pretty crazy, which is why that insurance popped like that. Her insurance carrier left the state of Florida, and then it got switched to another carrier, and it's called Slide Insurance. They haven't commented on the situation, but the insurance broker they asked, which I believe was Matthew Carlucci, he said, hey, if this happens to you, just go ahead and start shopping around, because from what I'm seeing for a home like that, your insurance bill should be around $8,800. So don't panic. You know, she said that some of her neighbors actually did start paying the bill. So they paid that full amount up front, opposed to shopping around. They just panicked and did what they had to do. But you should definitely contact your local real estate agent that knows an insurance guy, or if you know an insurance guy, make sure you reach out to them, because insurance right now is a funky thing. And I'm not going to dive too much into that, because I'm actually going to be interviewing Justin Thompson with Brightway Insurance tomorrow, and I'm going to be having a full-length discussion on what's going on with Florida's insurance market, so you guys can know better what's going on. All right, so let's share the next news story here. All right. Now, we talked about this. Oh my God, freaking CNBC. So annoying. Okay. Mortgage demand grows, driven by sales of new homes. Okay. What the heck? So the average contract interest rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage with conforming loan balances increased to 6.7, or went from 6.73 to 6.75. Applications to refinance a home, which is huge because 92% of people are under 6%, rose 3% for the week, but were 32% lower than the same week 1 year ago. Interest rates were like 4.2. Applications for a mortgage to purchase home also climbed 3% for the week and were 21% lower year over year. Once again, we are charting a different year here compared to like super low interest rates. 4.5% interest rate, it's still a very great rate. Honestly, it's very low. So there is definitely a lot more demand, but for the interest rates that we have right now, everyone's being surprised at how much demand is still out there. And in St. Johns County, that's obvious based off of our inventory, because we don't have any homes available. So still tons of people moving to our area here, guys. I should have filled up my water bottle before I came in here. I'm quite parched, but we're going to push through it. If you can hear my lips smacking or the crust on my lips drying, then I'm sorry. So let's go here. We only got, let me see, I think we got one more news story. That's it. Yeah, one more news story, two more news stories. No, one more news story. Sorry. Florida law prohibiting property ownership for some foreign nationals set to take effect this week. State law poised to become the first in country enacted to block such purchasers. So this is really interesting. I'm going to dive more into this. Just reading this news story, I've heard about this law, but you know what? You stay on top of all this stuff, you'd go crazy, honestly. There's just so much stuff. Everyone's trying to do something. But some immigrants from 7 countries will no longer be allowed to buy real estate, including houses and condominiums in certain cases in Florida under a new law set to take effect at the end of this week. It's going to start July 1st. New law prohibits China, Cuba, Iran, North Korea, Russia, Syria, and Venezuela for owning, my wife just brought me a glass of water. Oh my God, so good. Okay. Owning agricultural land or real estate of any kind in Florida near a military installation or critical infrastructure, such as airports, refineries, power plants, and chemical manufacturing facilities. There are more than a dozen military installations in Florida, many of which are within 5 miles of city centers like Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville, Pensacola, Panama City, and Key West. So this is obviously a big deal because that's restricting people from all over the world from buying real estate that are close to pretty much any city, because all the military are very close to all of those cities here in Florida. So I'm not exactly sure what the entire purpose is to maybe save property for Floridians or for people that live in the United States, to protect assets. But it does go into say that, and there's another, the back end of this is that it creates a law of, that stigmatizes people, right? So if you're dealing with someone who is from China, then you're like, oh, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe I can't sell this property to you, maybe because you're Chinese and I might be within that certain distance to a military base or maybe an airport or a power plant where that may not be allowed. So then that's going to put questions in sellers' heads, lead to negotiation issues with buyers that are potentially American-born Chinese people, right? So that could be a huge implication. We'll see what happens. But they also say that there are some exceptions, and a lot of it, and of course, they're going to find loopholes in this, guys. Come on. I mean, if they're looking to buy next to a military place for trying to hurt the United States, they're going to find something, and they give them one here. Owning the land in the person's or entity's ownership interest in the company is either less than 5% of any of the class of registered equities or less than 5% in the aggregate in multiple classes of registered equities, according to Adams. And, to me, it just sounds like, hey, we got your loophole here. Go ahead and take it. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. Man, I'm sweating so much. So funny. I'm not exactly sure how they intend to police that. Because real estate brokers are pretty much going to be the first people to really encounter that. So now I'm going to have to find a birth certificate for people, make sure that they have a social security card. That's just something that doesn't make sense. I'd like to know what you guys think about that. Is that a good thing, a bad thing? Maybe I don't know enough about it. I will do some more research, but as of right now, it just seems like, hey, let's just make another bill and make more laws. It's just like, how many more? I'm definitely not, I'm all about less government, less interfering with your life. And I know a lot of people love DeSantis for a lot of different reasons, but he does have certain things where he just makes stuff up. And it's like, hey, this is just more laws that we don't need, right? You're adding more layers of government, right? I don't know. Either way, guys, that is it. Looks like we had a good bit of people on here today. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you sticking with me as I look super rough. Go to Sporks, though. Great spot for lunch. One of my favorite places to go. Get a loaded mac and cheese. My buddy owns it. I've known him since I was 7 or 8, but he owns it. It's right on St. Augustine Beach. A great place to grab lunch. I'm going to get this cleaned up eventually, but we just got a lot of things going on, a lot of cool things, and getting a townhome ready, going to weddings, because that's what you do at this age, and then also getting this house kind of nice and cozy. This has been the last priority, but it will get done, guys. I appreciate you being here every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I've been late. I'm going to do a lot better here for the next couple of weeks. I will be on time next week. Every Wednesday at 8 o'clock, going over the market stats, the news you need to know about, and doing a Q&A at the very end. So if you do have any questions, you're watching the replay, watching it live, make sure you drop the comments below, any questions. It also helps with engagement too. So do me a favor, guys. Have a good one. Talk to you later.